Pretty decent one.
Have we seen other outcrops of these here?
Charles Mason, professor at Morehead State University, and with me I have I should say former student now, Megan Ennis. She graduates today from Morehead State, and she's going to be attending the University of Tennessee to continue her education. Currently we're on Devon Island at the HMP, or Haughton-Mars Project. We're just out from the base camp, which you can see here on the map. Currently we're right here at this point on the map. We're about 1 kilometer or so away. What you see is a map that Megan and I have been working on. It's a map to map the geology a little more in detail than the current maps that are available. They just do a broad brush overview, and they're excellent, but to do some of the things we'd like to do in the future, we need a little more detail to determine if there's been ejector blocks blown out and landed over here, and if we know the detailed geology, we'd recognize that this particular block is not in place, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of why we're doing it. We're starting at the base camp and working out. We're kind of doing it from scratch. It takes this is a rough map that we have to go back and work with. We're out here checking some points now to make sure about things. We just finished working this point, and we walked over here. Besides doing the general geology, one of the things we're looking for are specimens of fossils and other things found in the region. You know, you can look, like here by Megan, for example, is a stromatoporoid that we find is related to sponges. Here is part of a chain coral, another stromatoporoid. On the point here, we can see a large coral colony right here. This is Syringophora. It's a colonial coral, and we have large coral heads like that at this outcrop and other areas in the region, and we're using them to help us to correlate the rocks from one area to another, the rock thicknesses, the rock lithology, sedimentary structures like bedding thicknesses, cross bedding, things of this sort, trace fossils, whatever we can use to characterize the units, and then we're working out the succession of them. And Megan has that here. If you want to pick it up, Megan, show it. The section we worked out for this general region. Megan's drawn up a rough section, and the colors, you know, this is some of the features. Of course, this is all in the rough. We have to work on it, straighten it out. And this project will be to map a 4 or 5 kilometer area. This detail around the base camp, you know, would probably take once we get the section worked out, which we've done a lot this season, to map through the region, it'll take you know, probably several seasons of a week or two at a time coming up here to do it. And so it's an ongoing project. Besides mapping, you know, like I said, I'm pointing out the fossils and things. We're also finding fossils for, we're planning to develop a little museum, so when people come to visit HMP base camp, they can walk into the core or wherever they're going to put the cabinet, and they can look and readily identify what they're seeing out in the field. So we're going to put in good examples of fossils, like I'm taking some back to cut them in half and polish them so you can really see what they look like better. And the third thing that we're doing is we're locating places like this where we can bring people out. We're going to develop a field guidebook, so people coming here can take ATVs and come out and go to the different stops and get a good cross-sectional view of things. Like this would be an excellent stop, one we picked to show fossils. we don't collect these. We leave them and for people to see. And the outcrop, they're sticking out all over here. This is a really good fossiliferous point. There's other large coral heads around the corner here in the same locality. Off to our west, this outcrop to the west there's actually a hydrothermal vent there, and it's altered the rocks, and they could, that would be like this might be stop one, that would be stop two, and they could go over and see that. And right next to the hydrothermal vent is fault breccia, where the rocks have moved and broken up to pieces, and it's produced what we call a fault breccia. And this is also the avenue which the hot water, heated up and brought to the surface to alter the rock. So that kind of thing. So we have right here in this vicinity 2 really excellent stops to see some very important features that we find here at HMP.